Good morning. Hello, everybody. Coming live from Billings, Montana. World Variety All Addictions Gathering Conference. And my name is David. I'm in active recovery. And I got a couple special guests here today. It's my honor to introduce these men, on my recovery journey, you meet people along the way, and sometimes you never think you're gonna meet them, but you look up to them and you start to follow them, and learn from them, and then good things start happening, and Creator brings them into your life on that same path. So let me introduce my brother Michael here, and my Uncle Woody. The first time I get to meet my Uncle Woody, but I've been following my brother Michael for about a year now, and I really love what he does. And you want to introduce yourself, guys? What you guys organization involved with?
All right. Well, like you said, I'm Woody. Down to Bashamgo. I always say good morning. And my Indian name is Gunahuchu Huvia, which means little barn bird. The deeper meaning of it means messenger of many camps. And so I'm honored to be on this show here with these guys. And this is my first time meeting both of these guys, but I follow them, so I feel like I already know them. Yeah, we're here in Billings at a White Bison conference, and there's a lot of healing going on, man.
Yoke, but now, good morning, relatives. My name is Mike Duncan. I am a Round Valley tribal member, Mindu, Wingtu, Wailaki on my father's side, and Worcester Baptist, Shawnee Tumo on my mother's side. I'm also the executive director of Native Dads Network, based out of Sacramento, California. Been clean and sober for a long time, about 17 years or so. And man, just really blessed to be here in Billings. We're at the All Addiction Conference. This is about my fourth one that I've been to. But I've been asked to come here to be of service, work with Kateri and Don, and do this work, man. This is very important work. So I'm glad to be here on this podcast. And get rocking and rolling.
Yeah. So we got things going on this morning. The event's about to start, so we're gonna get right into the reading. And we're still in the fall meditations with Native American elders, October 28th. This quote is going to be coming from Sitting Bull from Papa Lakota. He said, "Our religion seems foolish to you, but so does yours to me. The Baptists and Methodists and Presbyterians and Catholics all have a different God. Why cannot we have one of our own?" The reading goes, "The Creator gave each culture a path to God. To the Indian people, He revealed that the Creator is in everything. Everything is alive with the Spirit of God. The water is alive. The trees are alive. The woods are alive. The mountains are alive. The wind is alive. The Great Spirit's breath is in everything, and that's why it's alive. All of nature is our church. We wake up in church. We walk all day long in church. We eat with our families in church. We go to sleep in church. Today, I intend to focus on my Creator. Let us lead people to worship you in the way you have taught them." Ooh. So I'll go ahead and go first. I'm really grateful for the program that I work in recovery. And I think I never knew what it was, how powerful it was to pray on a daily basis. Until I worked the steps of AA. And I think it was probably around step 6 or 7, and I was out in California, and I was getting a little bit of freedom. I was just getting out of my residential house into sober living, and I was really had a lot of anxiety about getting out to the open world, without all that structure, So, but there's some meetings I needed to get to, so I had to get there, and my defense mechanism was like, I'm just gonna sit down and walk my head down and pray the whole time, So I did that for a few weeks, and one day in Anaheim, I'm getting off a bus, and I'm just recognizing, like, I've been praying this whole time. I've been walking around, just praying like I can stay on this right path, And I think that's whenever things start, my perspective started shifting, and I started recognizing that, Creator's always out there with me, and this walk I'm on now. And I don't have to wait to go to church to pray. I don't have to wait to go to sweat to pray, because if I was in my addiction, that's what I would do. I would pray when there's time to pray. I'd go to sweat and I'd pray, or I'd go to other ceremonies. And that's when I pray, But now I'm really grateful for, like I said, the work I put into my step work, because it gave me the discipline to pray every day and every moment whenever I really need it. And I never knew how powerful it was until I started doing it on a day-to-day basis. But yeah, that's what I got.
You want to go first?
Go ahead, I'll hear your story.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess I had to learn a lot about this because there's so many different ways out there, even amongst our tribes, and but the religions and things like that. But I used to hang out with an elder. His name was Horace Axtell up in Lapaway, Idaho, and out by his fire pit where we would meet, and he would tell us stories and things like that, and help us out with our recovery. And there used to be an old 10-speed bicycle sitting there, and the front wheels kind of up, and you could spin it, right? And we got on this subject right here about different religions, different paths, and of the Red Road and things like that. And so he would point to that wheel. It didn't have no rubber on it. It was just a wheel. And he'd say the center part of that wheel that makes that wheel spin is called the hub, or that's where the inertia comes from, power. And he said, so you see that there's only one. And he said all those spokes on that wheel are different paths to get back to that power. We're all born with understanding one of those, and we may come across several of them throughout our lives. And I guess as he's telling that story, and you get a visual of it with that wheel, he said, "Go give it a spin. Go over there and give it a spin." And he'd say, "Look, you can hardly see all them paths, but you can still see that power, and that's what we're all trying to get to." And he goes, "Imagine that was a sphere and not just a wheel. All the paths that would end up going towards that center." And then he pointed at us and he said, "You're one. You got an inertia, a power, and you send out paths for people to get to you." And so there really isn't no one power. And he's one of the, I know a couple elders that say this, but he is one of the ones that would say there's no such thing as an Indian religion. There was a sweat lodge right over by us, and he'd say that's not, that doesn't belong to us. That belongs to the human race. And everyone can go in there and get healed. And he goes, somewhere along the lines, it just got separated. Somewhere along the lines, we were just able to pick one spoke out of there and go, this is the way. And, he really opened it up for that. We didn't have to look at, well, what way do you do? What way do you do? And even with our Christian people and our Catholic peoples and the Muslim way and things like that, I'll just see that so differently these days. It doesn't really matter because we're all going to that same power. And that changed my life, I think. Those stories that he would tell, especially that one, especially for us brothers, because we would argue over it. You know what I mean? Hey, that ain't how you do that. Hey, that ain't how you do that. And he would say, no. If he's doing it, then you're a learner right then. If you're doing it, then you're a teacher right then. And he was really powerful man. He's no longer with us, but he was an elder of this very movement that we're here this weekend for. He helped Don get this going. And so I'll never forget him. And part of what he used to say is never forget where you come from. And so in my sobriety life, I remember all those people that I came from that kept me moving on this path when I got stuck. And I would get stuck and not know where I'm supposed to be or where I'm supposed to go. And he would say, remember your name. Your Indian name has a purpose. And I was an adult before I learned the deeper meaning of my name, messenger of many camps. And I'd already been doing that. And so now it's like I can tell myself I'm following my name.
Powerful. Yeah, it definitely had me thinking about a whole bunch of things. I think one of the things that, what came to mind when you were sharing, both of you were sharing, is, a teaching that one of the brothers taught me that I carry with me is like, it's important for you to know what you believe. And I didn't understand that, at the time it was shared with me. And even when I look back in my life, I was kind of conditioned, meaning like I was a young child, I was baptized as a baby into the Catholic Church because my grandmother was Catholic because of boarding schools. So it was forced, in a sense, and things were lost, growing up, and not really truly understanding or thinking that I was part of something. I just didn't feel right with me even from a young child to be in the church. So I just pushed myself away from it and got, started getting in trouble and, I fell into my addiction. But coming out of it, and listening to other spiritual leaders or people that walk this red road. And one of the things that was shared to me that I believe today, speaking of belief systems, is that, that it takes generations and generations for our people for you to get here. You're prayed by 7-10 generations back. They pray for your spirit to come. And when you experience this here, when you're here on earth, that you live spiritually. And what you're doing is building your spirit up to return home. And if you don't build your spirit up, your spirit ain't strong enough, it just sits here. And so I think about that because, again, what was shared is like understanding, Lord, what feeds my spirit? Now, I know just because of my addiction, what broke my spirit, alcohol, drugs, my behavior, my thinking, all those things that come along with that, and like regaining that back became super important to me, even to this day, when we start to look at recovery, we start to look at the word recovery and healing, and forgiveness, like forgiving the unforgivable, like Don always talks about. But it's one of those things that what would build my spirit up strong enough. And my prayer is and hope is that when it is my time, that I've done enough for my spirit to travel. Like that was when we were in the meeting last night. That's what I was saying. That journey is all by myself. No one can take that journey with me. That's something I have to do for me. That's why self-care is important. That's why self-forgiveness is important. Self-worth is important. Believing in something that's bigger than us. Having faith in that. And where I get that at, and where the talks of there is saying, being reconnected to the land. So back home, where this is right now is our big head ceremony. It's like it goes the whole month, and that big head goes from community to community to the end of the month of October, that fall dance. But even with my big head dance, even with our shake head dance, we dance barefooted. It's our connection to earth. It's our thing that we send prayers to, the next world, and being reconnected to the land and understand that all things are alive. I used to think sometimes we used to get kind of, and this, I'll share this part, but I'll close with it. But we used to get a little flack because when we took it out from the roundhouse, that's where we do our dances, into a conference, or sometimes we do that outside. We do, and people are like, "What are you doing? They ain't supposed to be danced and shared, like that." But what we started believing and understand that, and what we sometimes limit ourselves to thinking, is that Creator is only in this one place. Creator could only be here in this ceremony, around this fire, around that person, around this thing. No, Creator is everywhere. And when you truly understand it, and that's why I try to be as honest and set my attention right from the beginning, because I could lie to everybody. I could say I'm this, say I'm that. The Creator already knows. Creator knows if I'm lying or telling the truth or being honest, or what my intention is. So that scares me. Like I said, I want to make sure that my spirit continues to travel when it's my time. So I always try to live a good life. I always try to do something positive. And even when I stumble, because I'm human, right? I make mistakes. Trust me. The people I love will tell you I make mistakes. And I always, do my best to make amends and try to be a better human, a better father, a better brother, a better friend, to people that are around me. Even the ones that don't know me, I try to be the best. And that takes work, because I'm not, I was a miserable person for a long time. So even 17 years of recovery really doesn't mean anything except, what I'm doing today, what I'm doing at this moment. So that's what I learned from that. That's what I was thinking about when you're reading that. Yeah, that's a heavy topic, and it's a beautiful one at the same time.
Oh, thank you guys, man. Really appreciate those words. Man, I can't say how good it makes me feel to be here in Billings, because I get to meet brothers and family, man, just like these guys right here, and that's really good for me, for my soul. Like I'm almost speechless right now, just how good I feel, at peace I feel, because I'm just grateful to be able to have the chance to sit down with you guys. I want to shake your hands, say thank you. All right, we can get things going and get back to this conference, because I think they started without us. But everybody have a good day, and remember, recovery is possible. Just gotta reach out, put some work into it.
Relatives.